Hello and welcome to the second edition of This Week in the Market. This is where I give you a quick rundown on what is happening with the portfolio that I manage on eToro. If you want to know more about me and the portfolio, please check out the description below. Please be aware that I'm not a financial advisor and none of the content in this episode is financial advice. So to start with, I'm just going to run through the news headlines that have moved the stocks. I'm not going to go into detail on them, but if you'd like more information, please use the power of Google. And if you're still not sure, by all means comment below and I'll try and answer your questions as best as I can. So starting with NIO, we've had a very volatile week this week. Things that have been impacting the price outside of the company itself. There's a potential IPO of Li Autos on the US stock market. This is a Chinese-specific electric car company that only sells one type of electric car in China. But they filed their paperwork with the SEC last week for a US IPO. We also have Ford, who released their sales in China. 78.7% second quarter increase in sales compared to the first quarter, which means Q2 of 2020 is up 3% on Q2 of 2019. And this is the first time in nearly 3 years that they've registered a rise in quarterly sales. They plan to launch 30 models in China over the next 3 years, and more than 10 of them are going to be electric. Now, just want to swing back to that very slightly in the respect of NIO recently released their sales, and I pointed out that Q2 sales were up massively compared to Q1, and I did point out that I thought it's probably a bit of a pent-up demand from Q1 that's pushed sales up a bit higher than we were expecting, and I think that's quite clear for other autos as well, because of the fact that Ford, having received declining sales consistently, suddenly had uptake in sales, up 3% year on year. To me, that really kind of says that that's a one-off. So, but obviously, yeah, that's sales of cars in China specifically. So moving on to Alibaba. Alipay has announced recently that they have 1.3 billion annual active users. I'll just let that sink in for a minute, as the number of users there, that's insane. 1.3 billion active users. Another piece of information is AliExpress Russia, which is AliExpress is like Alibaba's version of Amazon, and AliExpress in Russia is aiming for an annual turnover of $10 billion by 2022/2023, and this is compared to what analysts are estimating is currently $6 billion. So obviously quite a big jump that they're planning there. Alibaba also filed their annual report last week, and so if you're interested in that, please go onto their website and have a look. All the information should be there for you. For Tesla, a German court has banned Tesla from using autopilot or full potential for autonomous driving in any of their advertising or on their website in Germany. Texas has also offered $14.7 million in tax breaks if Tesla builds their Cybertruck factory there. And on a side note, Elon Musk is now reportedly worth more than Warren Buffett. With Disney, as mentioned last week, the resorts started opening, so we now have Disney World, Disney Shanghai and Disney Tokyo are all open, with the remainder all closed. There's also been some news with streaming competition, with Netflix having announced a new romantic series which is Emily in Paris. Apple also launched Greyhound, which was a World War II film with Tom Hanks, and they had great success within their own platform. Can't actually find any real numbers for that, but they seem to be very proud of that success. On the back of that, Disney has also been using the recent lockdown to their advantage in the respect of they've been making the only content that you can make, which is animated content. So Star Wars Bad Batch, which is a spin-off from Clone Wars, should be coming soon. So Amazon have announced that they will be building a new fulfillment center in Texas. Amazon Music has launched what they're calling Breakthrough, which is a service aimed at promoting up-and-coming artists. And AWS has also announced a long-term strategic partnership with HSBC. So news for NVIDIA. A UK company called Graphcore has announced a new AI chip called the GC200. AMD's rumoured Big Navi graphics card is said to be 40 to 50% faster than NVIDIA's flagship RTX 2080. And NVIDIA is now bigger than Intel with regards to market cap. JD Sports have recently released their financial results for last year up to the 1st of February 2020. Very impressive, with a 30% raise in revenue over that year. Games Workshop released their new 40k game, which sold out online within seconds. Ended up being on eBay for over £200, which was twice the RRP. However, Games Workshop have announced that they will make more based on demand. However, this could take up to 121 days. So that is literally making these boxes on demand for the customers. There's also been a new announcement of a new game called Chaos Bane, which will be on the next generation of PlayStation and Xbox consoles. And news for Bellway. The Maidstone Borough Council have rejected the planning permission for the 421 homes that they were planning on building there. This will likely be overturned in a legal battle. However, at the very least, it's going to cause some delays there. A huge development of 532 homes in Ebbsfleet Garden City in the Thames Estuary has had a planning permission request submitted. Bellway is the main contractor for this, and it'll be a combination of terrace houses and 5 to 7 story apartment blocks, which is due to start later this year if it's given the green light. So potentially a big boon there. So let's see how the portfolio has performed so far this week.
Right, so I'll just talk you through quickly how I normally get to the screen where I compare the chart. Click on the chart in my profile section so that we get the big chart that you see here. Click on the arrows in the top right hand corner so that you can change your time period. So I change mine to the current month, which obviously comes out to the first of the month. Back to there. And then we click on the little pen here, and it allows us to compare different chart types. So let's just add in all our stocks here. Oh, definitely don't want that person. He's not part of our stock portfolio. Sports. I normally forget one. Let's have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Brilliant, that's all of them. And then what I normally do as well is just add in the Nasdaq and the FTSE 100, just to give us a bit of a baseline. That's done. Right, so let's go over there we go, from the first. So rolling right the way over, we have at the very bottom Worst performing is the FTSE 100 that is only up 1.78%. Right at the top, obviously best performing stock over this period is NIO, Tesla close behind. If you remember last week, Alibaba was catching up and looked like it was going to overtake Tesla. However, it's had quite a divergence and fallen down a little bit. And coming down, so this big thick blue line here is our overall portfolio. So that's how we're doing overall, up 13.39% so far this year, so that's good. And who have we got then? So we've got Nvidia and Disney are both coming up at about 7%. Bellway at 5.58. Is this one? So Amazon looking at around maybe 4%, I think, in line with the Nasdaq. And which one's this? Is that JD? Yeah, JD Sports. And is this Games Workshop? I'm assuming. Yeah. So these two here, JD Sports and Games Workshop, probably coming in about 2 to 3%, and that's this month to date. So if we move over to the 7th, 8th, what's the date? Yep, so that was from Wednesday last week. These are the results. So with the dip that we've had with NIO, Tesla has now overtaken and is in the lead with 13% up this week, and NIO is only up 6%, bearing in mind the dip that it's had. Here are we at? Wow. So our third best performing stock this week is actually Bellway, which is up 4.1%. And who's this? This purple one, I can't seem to... Disney. So this is our overall portfolio performance here, and we've got Bellway and Disney here just above that, which we're talking between 3.5 and 4% for those three there. So that's the performance of our overall portfolio is 3.5% this week. And as you can see here, actually the FTSE 100 has actually performed very well in comparison to a lot of other stocks this week, with the Nasdaq even outperforming the Nasdaq. And we've got JD Sports down here at minus 1.6%, Amazon down 2.3%, and Alibaba down 3.5%. So obviously these guys had quite a rough week this week, but still very confident with all of them. I'm sure they're going to pick it all up, and let's see how we get on next week.
Well, that's the end of this week's episode. I apologise for the audio on the last part. Obviously I'm going to need to get a new webcam for that. This is a work in progress, so hopefully this will continue getting better. If there was particular parts of this show that you liked, parts that you didn't like, please make sure to comment below. I am only making these for you guys, so if you do want to see them, please make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel. Other than that, see you guys next week.